Hi everyone, thanks for joining. Today's video is your first video about box plots. Our goals for this video are to be able to determine the 5-number summary of a data set. Before we get started, let's remind ourselves how to find a median in a data set. And remember that median is the middle number. So first thing you have to do is put your data in order. And I always mark it out as I go. If you're ever doing this from the computer, which you probably are, you might want to write your numbers on your paper so that you can mark out as well. That way you can make sure that you don't forget a number. And the method I like to use is to mark the lowest, then the highest, the lowest, and the highest. Now, notice there's no middle number. So what you have to do is you have to average 48 and 63. So we're going to add them up and then we're going to divide by 2. So I'm going to do 48 plus 63. That's 111. Divide that by 2 and my median is 55.5. Okay. That also, which we're going to do some of this in a second, but this divides my data into a lower half and an upper half. Lower 50%, upper 50%. Notice that 48 is within the lower half, 63 is in the upper half. So 5-number summary is just like it sounds. There are 5 pieces of information that you're going to gather to summarize your data. And if you are going to take notes, this is definitely something that you want to write down because you will have to be able to make this list. Okay, so you need to memorize. The easiest way I think to memorize it is to remember that you have to find your median. Okay, you have that splits your data, remember, into your lower and upper half. You have to find your minimum, which is the lowest number in your data set. You have to find the opposite, the maximum, the highest data value in your set. So let me show you that here. We found our median. Our lowest number is 21. Our highest number is 98. So this is called our minimum. This is called our maximum. You also have to find what's called your first quartile, or also known as the Q1, and the third quartile, also known as the Q3. And it's super simple. The Q1 is just the middle of the lower half, the median of the lower half. And the Q3, or the third quartile, is the middle of the upper half. So let me show you. Remember we said in the green is your lower half down here, and then the other green area is your upper half. Well, the middle of 21, 27, and 48 is 27. So this is my Q1. And the middle of my upper half is 97, which is my Q3. So I have my median, I have my minimum, I have my maximum, my Q1, and my Q3. And that is my 5-number summary. And you would just write it in a list. Okay. So here's another example. This example is find the 5-number summary of the following data set: 23, 14, 37, 9, 4, 32, and 29. And I urge you to take notes so that you can know exactly what to do each time, and I'm going to give you some steps to follow. So step 1 is here, order the values from least to greatest. Okay, so you're going to put them in order just like you would if you were finding the median. Step 2 is to first identify the lower extreme. Remember, the least value, it's also called the minimum. And another name for the maximum is the upper extreme. So just make sure you know those are interchangeable. So my lowest number is 4 and my highest number is 37. Super easy to figure out once you have your numbers in order. Step 2 is to find the median or the middle value. And you can see here that they found the middle and it's 23. So I'm going to highlight it up here as well. Remember that that divides your data into the lower half, the upper half. Notice that the median is between, it's not in either group. Okay. And again, just like in the warm-up right here, if there is not a middle number, you have to average them. Okay, so that's step 3. So now we know our minimum, our maximum, and our median. Now let's take a look at step 4. Step 4 is to find the lower quartile, also known as the Q1. And remember, it's the middle of the lower half, so I can see that 9 is the middle number here. They're also showing you over here. And then step 5, last step, is to find the upper quartile, also known as Q3, the third quartile, and it is 32. So my 5-number summary is 4, my minimum is 4, my Q1 is 9, my median is 23, my Q3 is 32, and my maximum is 37. So here's practice problem number 1. I challenge you to pause the video and see if you can figure this out. The numbers are not in order yet, so you need to do that first. So I'm going to put my numbers in order, and I'm going to mark out as I do. 124, 126, 129, 134, 138, 137, I almost missed that, so just be super careful, 138, 140, and 143, and try to never go onto another line. Always do one line because then it's harder to separate your data, okay? Also, another good practice is to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 numbers in my original list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in my new list. So I'm going to find the middle of my numbers, and I'm actually going to use my fingers this time because I want to make sure that I'm not highlighting everything. So first thing I found was my median, and it is 134. That separates my data into my lower and my upper half. I don't like that green on the blue, so I'm going to change to yellow. The minimum is 117. The maximum is 143. And then you're going to notice something kind of unusual. There is no middle number here, so I have to average 124 and 126 and divide that by 2. Now, the number right between them is 125, so that's what you're going to get. Okay, so my Q1 or my quartile 1 is 125, and then right here, that's going to be the middle, and so you would do 138 plus 140 divide by 2, and that's going to be 139. So minimum, Q1, median, Q3, maximum, and there is your 5-number summary. Here is practice problem number 2, and for this one, you are going to need to list your numbers off of the stem and leaf plot. So go ahead and make a list. The nice thing is it is in order for us. So just make a list of your numbers. And again, try to pause the video and try it yourself. I'm just making a list of my numbers. And then I'm going to go ahead and write my list that I need to fill out. So my minimum, Q1, median, Q3, and maximum. So again, step 1 is to find that middle number, and I'm just again using my fingers on the screen. There is not a middle number this time. So I have to figure out what is between 50 and 53. $50 plus 53, divide that by 2. And that is 51.5. So I'm going to put that here. My minimum is easy to find. It's my lowest number. My maximum is my highest number, so that's next. And now I'm going to find the middle of my lower half to find my Q1 now. So I'm going to cover up 42 and 50, 43, 48. These two numbers, 45 and 45, are the two middle numbers. Now, this makes it easy. If the two middle numbers meet together, but there's not an exact middle, remember you're supposed to average. But if they're the same number, that's going to be what it is. There's nothing between 45 and 45. You can check 45 plus 45 divided by 2. You're going to get 45. So my Q1 is 45. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my upper half. Again, my middle numbers, there we go, are these two. So I need to average them. 58 plus 63, divide by 2, and I get 60.5 as my Q3. Again, these two were in the middle. Before you leave, make sure you can determine the 5-number summary of a data set, and thanks for watching.